So welcome back to the session of the language learning class. As in the previous class we have done verbs, that is transitive and intransitive, and it was part 1 as I have told you earlier. So this is a part 2 of the verb part, and in the part 2 we are going to begin with the types of verbs or kinds of verbs. Again, as you see, there are two kinds of verbs, that is finite and non-finite. So today we are going to find the difference between the finite verbs and the non-finite verbs. Now you see some sentences I have given here. One is, we study English every day. She plays tennis in the evening. She likes him very much. Some of the verbs I have underlined here, as it is study, plays and likes. These are all finite verbs. Okay. Now these are all finite verbs, and these finite verbs can be the predicate of a sentence. For example, if I say we study, it is itself. So as I said, these are all finite verbs, whatever I have underlined the words, that is study, plays, likes. And these finite verbs can be the predicate of a sentence by themselves. That means if I say we study is itself a complete sentence, or she plays, it is a complete sentence. One important thing is, we cannot make sentences without finite verbs. If I say we English every day, what do you mean by that? That is a totally a meaningless sentence. So first thing is, finite verbs can be the predicate of a sentence, remember, but without finite verbs we cannot frame the sentence. That means finite verbs is as important as any other things in a sentence to make it a meaningful one. And one more thing, these finite verbs, they change with the number of the person, number and the person of a sentence, of the subject in a sentence. I repeat, they change with the number and the person of the subject in a sentence. Number and person means, if we say singular or plural, comes under the number section, and person means it may be a first person, second person or a third person. But what is the difference between this finite verb and modal auxiliaries? Why again I am going to modal auxiliaries? Now I think you must be remembering what are modal auxiliaries, that is can, could, shall, might, may, those things. Those modal auxiliaries are also finite verbs. I don't deny that they are not finite verbs. They are the finite verbs. But the special condition for the modal auxiliaries are that they do not change with the number or person. I repeat, they do not change with the number or a person. For example, he can swim, we can swim, they can swim. Now this is non-finite verbs. Now just go through these sentences. She likes to sing, walking is good for health. Now two words I have underlined here. First is in the sing and second one is walking. These are the non-finite verbs. Now the non-finite verbs, they do not function as verbs. Before and I said finite verbs can be a predicate of a sentence, whereas non-finite verbs, they do not function as verbs. They function as nouns or adjectives. They do not function as verbs, whereas non-finite verbs functions as nouns or adjectives. She likes to sing, walking is good for health, and we can say he jumped from a running bus. So those things where we find the verbs used as, or the words function as a noun or adjectives, we can say they are the non-finite verbs. But normally non-finite verbs do not function as verbs. I have given these examples here. Now one next thing is, in the finite verbs they were changing with the number and the person, but here they do not change with the number and person. Number means, again I am repeating, singular and plural. Person means first person, second person or third person. Okay, so they do not change with number and person or in a subject of a sentence. They also don't express tense. Okay, important is, they do not express any tense. The tense in a sentence is always expressed by a finite verb. Do you remember the first example what I gave you in the sentence was that we study English every day. When we say we study English every day, study in which tense did I use here? Every day means it is present tense. But whereas when I say she likes to sing, which tense am I using here? That means these non-finite verbs, they never express any tense, whereas the tense in a sentence is expressed only by the finite verbs. After this, I will explain you, or I am going to explain you the kinds of non-finite verbs, that is the infinitive, participle or gerund. Now see the kinds of non-finite verbs. What are the three kinds of non-finite verbs? First one is the infinitive, that is to plus verb. Before verb you are going to add a to. The participle, that is verb plus ing, or the past participle. Past participle means you must be remembering, that is V3 form. Next one is the gerund. Gerund means verb plus ing. I repeat. Kinds of non-finite verbs. There are three kinds of non-finite verbs. Number one is the infinitive, that is to plus verb. We are adding a to before the verb. The participle, that is verb plus ing, or the past participle, that is a V3 format. And the gerund, that is verb plus ing. Now the first one we are going to explain, that is the infinitive. In the infinitive, you see, as we said, to plus verb. I have given two examples here. Or I have taken, she decided to go by bus. I asked Atul to help me. Now here, to go and to help normally are the infinitives because it is to plus verb. Now, but there are difference in the two sentences you see. The first one is to go is the object. Object of the verb decided. Now, decided is a verb here, you must be knowing that. So, to go is the object here of the verb decided. Remember that? And here, I asked Atul to help me. Here, to help is a complement. Is a complement of a sentence. Okay. The verbs to go, to help are the infinitives, but they are used in a different way. Now, the infinitives act as a noun. It can be the subject or the object of a verb. Remember, the infinitives acts as a noun. Okay, and it can be the subject or the object of a verb. It may also be used as a complement of a verb. As I have said, it is a complement, so it can be also used as a complement of a verb. Here verb asked. Okay, so to help is a complement of the verb asked. And here object, as I say, it can be used as a subject or the object of a verb. Here object is to go, for the verb is decided. Okay, now infinitives act as a noun if we say, which is used as a noun. We can say many things, like for example, where the words you are using in the noun format, that is their infinitives we can use as a noun. Now the infinitive without to plus verb is infinitive. Many a times what do? We use without the word to infinitive. Those infinitives are known as bare infinitives. That means bare infinitive means here to नहीं है, यहाँ पे verb से पहले to नहीं लगाया जाता है. जैसे कि कुछ verbs होते हैं जिसके साथ हमको to लगाना पड़ता है. I asked to help me. I cannot say I asked Atul help me. This is totally wrong. Now here if I say she decided go by bus, that is also wrong. So somewhere or some of the verbs are there where we cannot use to, or the we have to make it bare infinitives. For example, bid, let, hear, make, watch, see, dare, etc. Some of the examples also I have given here. I heard him say so. Here I have done. I heard him say so. I saw tears come to her eyes. So some of the words are there where we cannot use, or we don't use to plus verb infinitive. We make it bare infinitives. Bare infinitives मतलब जहाँ पे to नहीं होता है. इसके बाद हम लोग चलेंगे participle के पास. Now the second part is the participle. What is participle? We saw an interesting film. She sat on a broken chair. Now participle here is interesting. This is V plus ing. This is V plus ing, that is participle, present participle format, and broken is V3, that is past participle. So participle can be in the present and it can be in the past also. So in these sentences, these participles are acting as adjectives. Which type of chair? Giving more information regarding chair, that is broken chair. We we saw an interesting film. What type of film did we see? We saw an interesting films. So in these sentences, these participles are acting as adjectives. So where they are used or acting as adjectives, so they are also known as verb adjectives. Okay, they are also known as verb adjectives. The next part is the gerund. Now what is gerund you see? Gambling is a bad habit. She enjoys boating. Gliding is my favorite hobby, or gliding is my hobby. In these sentences, here gambling is the subject of a sentence, but it is also known as gerund. You see how? And here she enjoys boating. This boating is a object to the verb enjoys. Remember, boating is an object and it is an object of a verb enjoys. So in these two sentences, if we see, both the gerunds words are used as objects or as a subjects. Sometimes when present participles are used as a nouns. Now in this case, subject, as it is a subject, it is a noun here we can say. So they are also called verb nouns. You see, it is a verb. If we see, gambling is a verb, but it is used as a subject in a sentence. This is a subject part, is a bad habit is a predicate part. So this is also a noun we can say. It is used as an verb, used as a noun. For that, this is known as your verb nouns. I hope with this you must be clear regarding the three kinds, that is verb, your finite and non-finite verbs. Then I have given kinds of verbs, that is your infinitives, participles and gerund. In infinitives we have gone for three parts. Then participle we have used as verb adjectives, and for the gerund I have shown you how they are used as verb nouns. With this we conclude the chapter of the verb completely. Part 1 was given to you beforehand. This is the second part of the verb, and this is the conclusion or ending of the lesson verb. With this we just keep our channel or keep our learning process on a hold process. Next video will be uploaded to you soon. Till then, watch it, share it, like it, and don't forget to subscribe it if you have not done so.